Hey everyone! So today is going to be fun because I'm finally getting the back garden deck kind of in order and ready for summer planting. So it is May, the weather has turned, it is absolutely beautiful out right now. I am a little bit more dressed up than I normally would be for the garden. My birthday is coming up and we are celebrating today. We went somewhere earlier, we're going somewhere later, and I don't feel like changing in between. So I will be putting on my dirty garden shirt over the top of my clothing and hoping that it stays clean. Although I will say, gardening in containers on a deck, I feel like you don't get quite as dirty as I would if I was gardening in ground. So what I will do is I will take you around. I'll show you kind of the mess that's out here right now, what I'm gonna do today, and then hopefully by the end of this video, my back deck looks just a little bit more put together. So I have moved most of the stuff out of the house. I'm still bringing things in and out like my dahlias and the grow bags, just because those can be very sensitive to the cold when they're just in grow bags. My lemon tree's been hanging out. Everything else is looking much happier with this weather. I also have all my seedlings right here that I'm hoping hang on for a little bit longer before I can put them into the raised beds. I do need to empty out the tulips. I'll do that probably in the next week or two. But what I'm going to do today is try to get all of like my furniture in place. I'm going to take down the greenhouse because it is now officially empty. Nothing left in there, which is the sign that we are now into the growing season. I didn't say the instructions, so I'm going to try to take photos and hope that I can put it back together this fall. And then I think the only other thing I'm going to do, other than like reorganize stuff, is get this tree planted into this pot. So let's get started. It is nice to have this little corner back. So I used that greenhouse to overwinter some of like my hydrangeas. I tried a dahlia, I had some roses in there, I had my tulips in there. Still waiting to see if everything for sure survived because there's been some slowdown on my hydrangeas and roses, but we'll see. But at least with the greenhouse itself, I took some photos, but there's really only like 3 different size bars. And it's pretty easy to tell which ones are the side, the top, and then the front and the back. And then all of the little connector pieces. So I have to find somewhere inside to store this for summer. The other thing I need to store inside after I clean it out is this bin, which was holding extra soil from last year that I then put into those back raised beds when I got them. So let me figure out where these are going to go for now. Okay, I've done a bit of rearranging. Let me show you what I'm doing so far, although nothing is necessarily going to be here permanently. But I have some empty grow bags. Some of these cages are going on this side, some are on the other deck, so I'll bring over whichever ones are going over there. And then I had these 2 window boxes here, or flower boxes, and my plan is to put 1 morning glory in each and grow it up these trellises because the sun in the morning comes from right over that direction, so it'll hit here. My only thing is that the plug is right here, and I do want to add some light. So I might, like before I plant this up, scoot this out, put in an extension cord to run along behind so that then I can access the plug over there. But I think that'll look really pretty. Then I'll plan to put some, like a group of hydrangeas here. I think that's going to be my plan, not 100% sure, but I think that would look pretty because the hydrangeas don't like the intense sun up here. I had them on the west deck last year. That did not work out well. I'm going to have them on the east deck this year, assuming they all haven't died, but I will cover that in another video. And then I have 2 more trellises that I'm not sure what to do with yet. Then swinging around, this I'm really excited about, and I did not have any of these containers last year, but I want to do a shade border because, so the sun comes from the back and it's on this side. So this is the south side of the deck right here. So it shines down like that at an angle, and there's always a little patch of shade right here, and it gets a little bit more sun as it gets higher in the sky. But I think I'm going to try caladiums and something else. I'm thinking the caladiums in these boxes, which I got for free from someone giving them away. And then these I just got at the liquidation sale. So something in the round pots, white and lavender caladiums in the large pot, or the rectangular pots. But I think this will look really pretty. So that's kind of this setup. Now, maybe I'll get the furniture in place and we'll get that evergreen back there potted up. Kind of feel like I'm playing a game of Tetris where I want to move, maybe it's not Tetris, but I need to move one piece, but I can't move that piece until I move the other piece. And then move that other piece, I have to move the other piece. But it's getting there. I think that looks pretty good. So I have room to walk around the side here. I have enough room between the back of the couch and these planters. And then I knew that I wanted my plum tree to be framed by the 2 seats. And I think it just opened either yesterday or this morning. But the flowers are so beautiful. I don't know if they're scented. Let me see. They don't really smell like much, but they're pretty. So next, let's pot up the evergreen. I don't think I'm going to pot anything else up today, but I will probably shift around the rest of the pots that I'm looking at to get it just a little bit more organized. All right, so here is that tree potted up, and now that it actually is in the pot, it gives it some height, which is nice. Now, I did choose what I think is the prettiest side to face out, but I might actually, since it's on wheels, like pull it out and rotate it if I notice any like difference in the growth on the front versus what's facing the wall. That is one thing that's nice about containers, and especially containers with wheels, is you can move things around as you wish, which is definitely something I couldn't do if that was planted in the ground. So things are definitely coming together. Oh, I need to put my composter. I just kind of tuck that right there in the corner. Need to figure out where I'm going to kind of permanently place my fruit tree. So those are the 2 apple trees. This cherry tree is so tiny and starting to bud up right there. There were some leaves here and then it got cold, so those leaves kind of got damaged, but I did scrape to make sure it's still green, and it is, because I am getting a little bit nervous about this, but I'm trying to be patient and give everything time. But this is one of the dwarf cherry trees. The other one, which is much larger when I got it, is over there. Now, like I said, I will be emptying out these gray pots. Don't know what I'm going to put in there yet, and I don't think they're going to stay right where they are. But yeah, I need to figure out, let me know if you can think of where would look good, because I need to find kind of a permanent place for them, because once I set up the drip, it kind of have to stay wherever the drip is going to be. But here's what it's looking like right now. Still pots just kind of strewn everywhere, but let's maneuver a few more things. All right, so it's starting to feel pretty good. I think I'm happy with the seating area and the plum tree. Obviously the 3 raised beds are staying right where they are. Now over here is where I think I'm going to keep all the fruit trees for now. I will be potting up these whenever they get too big for these pots, but I wanted to start them off in smaller pots because I might overwinter them in the garage. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I should move them down to the garage because they're still kind of smaller, but at the same time, if they can't survive the winter out here, then there's kind of no point in potting them up into larger pots. But I think that's where they'll stay for now. So I have a dahlia in a grow bag here, which these, again, I'm still bringing inside overnight because the temps are like right at 50, 48, 49. I'm bringing that inside. This has been staying out as long as it's above 50, so kind of similar to the dahlias. Dahlia here growing up. And this is what they look like now that they've sprouted after keeping them in the garage. Also, let me show off this lemon, which has been taking forever to ripen. It's almost there though. You can see there's still a little bit of green there on the bottom, but I mean, that's a pretty good size lemon. So waiting for that to ripen. My 2 cherry trees that hopefully they're both alive. My 2, oh, I'm sorry, I have a cherry, 2 apples, another cherry. Because I'm trying to make them fit in like they're in the space they're supposed to be. Right now they're just all kind of lined up. Might be different as they get taller. Another dahlia there. I have my strawberries here, which I think I'm going to move to the front because that's where my raspberries and blueberries are, and I'd like to have my little berry patch all together, but I'm going to leave it here for now. Composter, evergreen, lettuce in this bed. Then I have another dahlia here. So this dahlia, and then there's a bag on that side. These are both the same one. So these are both Otto's Thrill, which was like a vibrant pink color. This one is the Thomas A. Edison, which was deep purple, I believe. And then that means this one was the Michaela Miranda, which is going to be a light purple. So I thought I'd put the 2 that are the same color back here. All my tulips. These I already cut the flowers off of. These are flowering. These, I don't know if they're going to decide to flower or not. Then I have a bunch of either empty or pots with dead things. Again, I'll talk a little bit about that in another video coming up soon. This bed is empty. Well, there's nothing planted in it. It's full of dirt now, but it is empty. Then I have my little shade border, which I seriously love this so much. I feel like the colors too just blend into the brick wall. So it's really going to let the plants stand out. So happy I got these flower boxes for free. And then here's where it might be a little sad. So when I did my video on what survived and what died, we looked at these in the greenhouse. These are my 3 hydrangeas because I think it'd be really nice in this shadiest corner to have just a little patch of hydrangeas. And when I scraped those then, they were green inside. They also had some buds that were swelling and green. I think it was this one in particular. But now it looks like the buds that were green and swelling are now crispy and brown. So TBD on if these are alive or not, because I think they should be leafing out by now. So I don't have very high hopes for them. Very, very similarly, this rose. So this was all nice and green, and now it is not. I mean, there's some tips right there that are green. I don't know if this is going to come back either. So what I think happened, but if you have a better theory, let me know, is when I first checked on them, we were just coming out of winter. There were no extreme spikes or dips in temperature. We were just kind of coming out of it normally. And so it looks like they made it through the winter fine. Then we had that week period of like 80-degree weather here in Chicago, and I opened up the greenhouse and everything to let air in and not make it too hot in there. And then it dropped. Like, I think we went even back down into the 30s overnight. Now, what could have happened is because I garden in containers and it's not a very large volume of soil, the soil for my plants heats up faster than it would in the ground and cools down faster than it would in the ground. So what could have happened is potentially when it got really, really warm, I don't know if the soil maybe heated up, and then when it got really cold, it dropped again too quickly instead of like a normal fall transition period or normal spring getting warmer transition period, although I'm assuming it's the hot from cold that might have been the issue. Because I did close the greenhouse back up, and it's not like it got any colder than it did over a regular winter when they seemed fine, but those are my thoughts. Let me know if that theory seems like a good theory, or if you think there's something different that happened. They didn't get a lot of water or anything. I know it's not root rot because, again, they were in the greenhouse, so I was able to control the water. I know that they didn't dry out because, again, they were still moist in there. So I don't know, giving them a little bit more time. I'll do an update video on some other things that might be dead too from the first check. And I think that's going to be everything for this video. So it feels really nice. I kind of feel like I have a breath of fresh air out here now because everything was just kind of thrown out everywhere, and now it feels a bit more organized. So thank you so much for watching. A lot of planting is going to be happening really soon, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.